Sit, turn, type, sit. Good boy. Ruff.
We are recording. I'm all by myself. I need a beer. I should have a beer. Because I don't know. It's history and headlocks. Usually I have somebody next to me. I don't know. I forgot what they looked like. Not a dude. It wasn't a dude before. But definitely something more prettier. Had hair. I don't know. Feels like there's something missing. I don't know. Wait.
Where am I?
Oh my god.
What just happened? I was just watching TV and now I'm like on a laptop. What's going on here?
Welcome back, Ari.
Hi!
You forgot that this is your job.
My side gig, yes. Well, I've been without any job for the last few months, so I'm kind of just like
Poor choice of words.
Well, I have. What can I say? I'm not gonna hide it.
Well, on my part,
I got canned from my day job, so
yeah. How you been doing with that?
This economy is just not good right now, dude.
Right.
I tell people if they have a job, hold on to it, even if it sucks, or start looking and give yourself all the time in the world because there's nothing out there. It's bad.
Damn.
It is. So,
well,
just running on fumes right now.
And you decided to come back, which is a very good thing. But
yeah.
I've had a lot of people text me and message me, DM, say, "Where's Ari? Where's Ari?" So,
I'm sorry, guys.
Here she is.
I just needed to take a few steps back and, reevaluate everything because this last last year, I should say, hasn't been the favorable year for me.
Right.
And it kind of takes its toll, right? And then you gotta have to just stop everything and step away and kind of change your point of view of your life. And I was stressing myself out a lot about it. That we would have talks and I'll be like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I started feeling like less than, or that I was living in an imposter syndrome all these years. But I was telling a friend of ours recently that maybe this was just a sign from the universe that I just needed to take a break. I've been working nonstop since I was 16, basically. If it wasn't work, it was school. Not school, it was work. It was just, this is the longest I've been without doing anything other than sleeping and waking up. I feel like a cat. I sleep, I eat.
You're definitely that type of person that likes to keep themselves busy. There's no sitting still. There's nothing of that feel.
Yeah, I do. And it's been weird not doing anything productive,
Right.
And that's when I was like, you know what? I gotta start getting back into the little things that I enjoy to do. And this was the top thing. Like I enjoyed doing a podcast, and why would I not do it? Like why would I just stop?
Right.
Right? Like I needed the break, but now I think it's long overdue that I came back.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of things have mostly stayed the same. I mean, I'm still here. I've been still taking control of the show. Just
Yeah.
Jay's been helping along, which, by the way, he's superintendent Jay Santee now for this on History and Headlocks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Superintendent.
because we have a special background now, which people can tell.
Yeah.
We're in a classroom
I love it.
where we're going to be, like I think with you and me having conversations, how we're going to take the show going forward. We'll get into that. And
Yeah.
also our topic for today. But I wanted to talk to you because there's also been a lot of stuff that's been going on in the world. Like, all of a sudden, Cindy Lou Who is back in the media.
Cindy Lou Who? Oh, Cindy. Oh, from
The
the
actress
Grinch.
that played the little, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I've been seeing
That,
with
that,
her like in commercials and stuff.
yeah, that's one way to make me feel old, to see the little fucking girl from The Grinch Stole Christmas all grown up now.
Yeah. Didn't she perform at the parade?
I think she did, but it was just one of
The
those, like,
actress from the movie. Yeah.
right, the act.
She's like
Yeah,
a rock star or something like that.
yeah, she came out with a rock version of the "Where Are You" Christmas song.
Yeah, she's very gothy looking with the crazy eye makeup and the bleach blonde hair, and I
All
forgot what her
grown up.
band. She has a band. I know that. I just forgot the name of it.
Mm. But yeah, once I saw her, I was like, oh my god, that was what 2000, 25 years ago.
Yeah, in the early 2000s.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
yeah. A lot of people have a love-hate relationship because I think it's also like you didn't follow the book or like just people like that. But it's a Christmas movie. I mean,
Yeah.
it's either that or you're gonna have Mariah Carey sing "All I Want for Christmas,"
God,
your traditional holiday songs.
song's been rocking for 30 something years already.
Yeah, do you think she's tired of it? I don't think so.
She's getting paid. Why would she?
Yeah, I mean,
She doesn't have to do anything for the whole year.
right.
Until Christmas comes and then she does her one little song. Maybe do a
Yeah,
little Vegas residency here and there. And then she gets paid just for the royalties off the song playing every 10 minutes.
yeah.
Everywhere.
I think Ariana Grande has a song now too that's kind of in the similar vein. I think.
I think so. Yeah, yeah, yes. From the movie, right? From the Wicked movie?
Not the from Wicked. I think just from
Oh.
like, a couple of years ago, she had her own single come out for
She
Christmas.
did for Christmas. Yes, you're right. You're right. It was cute. Very cute. It was a cute little and I do hear it, but not as often as Mariah.
Yeah, and also I've heard mixed reviews about Wicked too. So
I hadn't even seen the first one.
yeah, I remember seeing the play though. I really love the play.
Yeah, I heard the play is absolutely fantastic. I've always wanted to go see it, but ticket prices are insane.
Right. It was a very different perspective of what the Wizard of Oz was for me. So,
Mhm.
but what else happened? I mean, a lot of stuff in wrestling happened. By the time we record this and it releases, John Cena's career is over.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Very confusing news about Netflix owning Warner Brothers and AEW possibly dying. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. I don't know.
If even if the acquisition is even approved at this point, they still have so many steps to go. I don't know if you got an email from Netflix about it.
No.
I did. Like 2 nights, like the same day they announced the acquisition, they sent an email that that they acquired this portion of Warner, the HBO
Mhm.
Max, like the movies, and that nothing's changing, obviously, because it's not complete, it's not finalized, it's not approved. So I'm like, why even announce it then if it hasn't even been approved? Like, why?
Like,
Why?
we're here to announce that nothing is changing yet.
Right? Yeah, exactly. And I think Tony also said it too during the Ring of Honor, the final battle scrum, that nothing's
Hmm.
changing, that they're still there, they're still going to be on TNT, TBS, and HBO Max. So
Which is what's all could change by next year. So,
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Like I think I was telling my nephew that Discovery will probably do yet another streaming. Either they already had a streaming, then they combined it with HBO. Now they're gonna do another streaming, and that's what we're gonna probably see.
yeah.
Um, you know,
Well, that's the direction we're all going in, right? It's all going to be streaming services now. Nothing's good. Like, cable television is still going to exist, but it's not going to be
No,
big as it once was.
no, unless they decide to drop their prices big time, compete with streaming, and then everybody's gonna go back to cable. $20 a month. Look at 500 channels. Hey.
That would be crazy if the prices are just too high when everybody now goes back to cable. But I doubt
Ah,
that's ever gonna. I doubt that's ever gonna happen.
mm-mm. No, they're gonna, as long as people are paying for things, they're never gonna drop the price. I
Right.
always say that. Yeah.
Right. And
So,
speaking of prices, I mean, WWE prices seem to go up more.
it's ridiculous.
AEW prices are very steady, which is how we got to see Full Gear live.
Yes, that was great. But I don't know if you checked the tickets for the Hammerstein shows. They were a little pricey. I mean, I know it's Hammerstein, I know it's Manhattan, but I was like, ooh.
Well, it's on the weekend, right?
Yeah, it's a 2 day.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the 2 day tickets were all sold out immediately.
Right.
And then the rest of them were, I think the cheapest tickets I saw were like $100. And I was like, so much for that.
Yeah, never mind.
And I was like, we paid less than half of that for our full gear tickets, and we had good view. The seats kind of were not the most comfortable.
Right, but I mean, the view was actually very,
Mhm.
very viewable in the best sense of the word. Because I mean, we did see everything, so it
Yeah,
wasn't that bad seats.
I always love getting those seats that are like right facing the stage, so you see everybody coming in and everybody. I just
Right.
I don't like those angled. They're just weird. I just like that. I want to see the whole entrance towards me, everything.
I mentioned in the review for Jay for we did for Full Gear that you were very caught off guard when the booms were coming on.
Wow.
I'm not talking about AJ's. I'm
Oh
talking
no.
about when
Yeah.
the
Who
fireworks went off.
was it? It was which wrestler was that? That I was like completely.
There was a bunch of wrestlers on the show that had some
Yeah, it
loud
did. There
booms.
was that one particular one because I was scrolling on my phone in that moment.
Yeah, you weren't paying attention. And then all of a
Not
sudden
at
there was just a
all.
giant explosion.
I was like, "Wah!"
Was it Takeshita?
No, it was later on in the show.
Mm, maybe Kyle. Was it Kyle Fletcher? Maybe.
Maybe I don't know. All I know is it could. You know what? It could have been Kyle. It could have been Kyle because he was half. They were halfway into the show. Him
Yeah.
and Mark a little further into the show, so it could have been Mark. It could have been him.
And that's nothing. I was very thrown off too because it's been a while since I've been to a live show, but so
Yeah.
I was expecting that. I'm used to hearing like the fake explosions, but once we got the real ones, it was like Jesus Christ, that
Yeah,
was
and
loud.
usually like AEW doesn't really use that much pyro to begin with, just
Right.
only for like Mercedes or for a title change. But this was like everyone who came out got some kind of pyro. Orange
Like
Cassidy
even
was one of those
yeah, that's the best one though.
hysterical. I
But
was laughing at.
but WWE, it's rare when they do pyro, but when they do pyro, it goes crazy because I think it was like Survivor Series a couple of years ago when they ran Barclays,
Yeah.
and like, it was the pyro was just crazy on that night too.
Mm-hmm.
It was
And
like
it's just loud, very
right,
loud. Kind of like in Arthur Ashe too, when they do the pyro in there, it's loud.
right. Because I
It just echoes.
well that's Arthur Ashe is normally like a tennis stadium, so it's not used to
Right.
having explosions like that
Yeah,
going
so
off.
it's just closed in and it's a smaller venue compared to like the Barclays or MSG. It was just like a loud. It just you feel it in your gut,
You know what I always think of too when you hear the explosions? What do people outside the arena think of if they hear it?
right? And they're
Like, do
not
they think like
aware,
a fucking bomb just go off?
right? Or like like in the stadiums when they come out of the stadium.
Like, what's going on over there?
Holy crap!
Yeah. But we are here for History and Headlocks, which means class is in session, everybody.
Yeah.
I am Homework Mike, and I'm joined once again with Ariana, who pretty much is just Ari on this show, but nickname to be named later, maybe.
Oh yeah, I forgot to put the whole Ariana not the Grande. That's all
Ariana,
right.
not the Grande, but
If y'all know me, y'all know me. That's who I am.
right. Well, it's also you don't have the red hair anymore. You were seen on the show with your hair. It is now, but
Yeah. Because I dyed it in the spring, right before I got freaking laid off. But my good
yeah,
timing.
before the world just gave you a giant middle
Yeah,
finger.
it's almost like my hair was like go black, go dark, because your life's gonna take a turn.
Yeah, it's like before people start questioning, like she didn't do that because it's a phase.
No, it's not a phase. It was never a phase.
Like it's not like depression Ariana where it's like all black and shit.
Yeah, I just got tired of the red. It's high maintenance, guys.
Well,
It's high.
guys don't understand that. So,
Yeah, this isn't. I mean, my roots have grown in. My grays are coming out. I don't care.
but everybody is gonna care about this episode because this is gonna be one of our little special episodes where last month special occasion in a sad way, but last month because we're now in December, but November 27th,
13.
13th was the 20th anniversary of the death of the late great Eddie Guerrero,
Yeah.
which was one of those moments where it hit me when 20 years has gone by without this man around. And I remember how I felt that day, 2005. But first, let me get your reaction to
Mhm.
your reaction to the news.
Oh, I was gutted. Just gutted. Like, yeah, it was one of the most unexpected people to have died, Because, I mean, I guess every wrestler that died would be unexpected, but if you kind of knew of their history and some of them would go, you'd be like, yeah, that was inevitable. But with him, I didn't see that coming at all and had no idea that he was
I, th-
going through what he was going through, you know?
I think one of the factors about it was that he was still active.
Right.
Like we've
And
had wrestlers up to that point that have died, but they were just by retired or haven't been seen on television. But
yeah,
this man was in the middle of a run, pretty much on the. I
exactly.
I don't want to say the last run, but it kind of felt like it. The way he was, I don't know how he felt about that, but
I mean, it was definitely one of his prime runs. It was after he already had been champion,
right.
and he was just still prime Eddie, still performing at peak level, and he just didn't expect to hear that news that he passed. I will remember, like, my mouth just dropped to the floor, and I cried.
Right.
I cried.
Yeah, I think one of those deaths where, like you mentioned, was expected. Nobody thought anything was. I want to say, I don't know. Physically, we're going to talk about how he looked at the end, but
Hmm.
you would always think like the way he would talk to on television, like, you'd think like nothing was wrong. Where we
No,
look at him and feel like, okay, he goes home, gets some sleep, and blah blah blah. Then he wakes up next day, wrestles.
right,
Like the normal at that point
right,
for any wrestler at that point.
right, exactly.
But I think for us here, when we do the show, because last episode we did like a two-parter for CM Punk.
Right.
This one we're gonna try and do maybe one part because I feel like when we talk about Eddie, we have to talk about the other elephant in the room, and that's Chris Benoit. But that's gonna be an episode later on because I think our episode on his own is deserved as well.
Absolutely. No matter what.
But as it comes to Eddie, where we have to pretty much start at the beginning, where he comes from a legendary family like the Hart family, where a lot of brothers. If you were asking me to name them all, I have
Yeah,
no hope.
it's
But
a very extensive list.
right, which pretty much to say, I don't know, the Mexican Bret Harts or the Mexican Hearts at this point. Would you say or
I would, yeah, like a
compare them
dynasty.
to?
Yeah, it was definitely a dynasty,
Right.
like the Hart family is.
So pretty much basics. His story is pretty much interesting, or in the same vein of started wrestling young, wrestling in the backyard with his nephews and cousins.
Yeah.
Then became pro, went to Mexico, pretty much got his fame and glory over there, and then ECW brings him over here with, and he wrestles guys like Dean Malenko, Chris Benoit, all over this here in the states and in Japan.
Yeah.
When when we looked at Eddie Guerrero early on, what was your first thoughts?
Um, he was fantastic. I had already seen a little bit of him in Triple A when they would show it on TV. On, I believe it was Galavisión, I think it was the channel. So I saw him, work with like Art Bar, the tag team that they had, and with his family, of course. So yeah, at first it was like, okay, typical luchador, you know. He had the look of a typical luchador and the style, obviously. But then once he came to the US, obviously not everybody here wrestled in that style. So he really stood out, and you could really see how talented he was, even though you could see the talent in Mexico. But to see him just take it up almost like a few more notches to stand out, and you could just see how talented he truly was.
Visually too. I mean, he was never the biggest guy in the ring. So
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, at the beginning, he looked very generic.
right.
He looked very generic. He had the mustache and the thick dark hair and the basic tights, and then his look didn't really evolve until he was in WWE, which was several years down the road.
Right.
Even
And
in his,
character wise, really nothing really. He didn't
no,
plain old Spanish wrestler, honestly.
right? Yeah, he didn't have a character. He
Right.
was just Eddie Guerrero from the Guerrero family, luchador, high flyer,
Right.
cruiserweight.
Yeah.
That
Pretty
was
much his. And then I was looking this up for his ECW run. Pretty much matches against Dean Malenko.
yeah,
All of them were time limit draws too. Like
yeah.
there was never a winner between them two matches.
They would just go and not stop. Like, geez, guys,
And it's one of
fantastic.
those things where you never really see that nowadays.
Very rare. And then when that happens, it's 5 more minutes.
That's that's what you gotta love about the ECW crowd, where they pretty much know what's going on, but it's also like they appreciate the wrestling. And Eddie was never like when you say Eddie Guerrero in ECW, never took table bumps or chair shots like that. He was always pure technical wrestler, and Dean Malenko
Right,
pretty much the same thing.
right. They didn't dabble in the ultra violent part of ECW at all that I can
Yeah,
remember.
that was for everybody else. They were the technical wrestlers on the show.
Yeah, they could actually they could actually work.
That is true. But when they made the switch over to WCW with Benoit and Perry Saturn, I think yeah, it was all of
Yeah,
them pretty much at the same time. And then when they brought in the Luchadors like Ray,
right.
Conan, Ultimo Guerrero,
Mhm.
that's pretty much when Eddie pretty much then got a spotlight. And it's very interesting looking at that where you had Hogan come in, he'd take over the main event scene, but you had Eddie Guerrero and all those guys be the opening card,
Mhm.
or at least have some spot on the show where like Eddie Guerrero's fighting like one match in particular. He fights Six on the NWO Sold Out show against Six in a ladder match for the
Mhm.
U.S. title.
Yes.
And then it's like from that point forward, he then turns heel, and then his nephew Chavo gets into the company, and that storyline from was very interesting to I don't know. What did you think of that when he started bringing it, when his nephew showed up, and then they started like you realized they have expanded the Guerrero family at this point.
I liked it. Chavo was a talent of his own, right?
Right.
I remember thinking I didn't realize they were nephew and uncle because they're so close. They were so close in age, and I thought, or so I thought. I thought they were brothers at first.
Right.
You know, um, but I did enjoy that. I always felt whenever they worked together, it was magic in the ring, whether they were
Mhm.
working apart against each other or together. It's just you can see how much work they put into their skills and talents with the family, and trying to make their family proud.
And this was also definitely Eddie's chance to try and show off a character where he
Hmm.
was pretty much at this point in WCW being the asshole uncle, telling his nephew Trevor to do, hey,
Right,
like, I'm not going to wrestle this match. You're going to wrestle this match.
right. You pushed them
And then
around.
in the famous T-shirt that I saw that's actually being sold on Pro Wrestling Tees is Eddie Guerrero is my favorite wrestler.
Yes.
They he'd make Chavo wear every night, every week, every month going forward. And then they got to the point where they eventually had their one-on-one match. Eddie wins, and the stipulation was shave his head.
Yes.
And Chavo eventually goes crazy, shaves his head, and goes off with a bald head and a pony. on a
Yes,
stick,
yes, I remember that. That was weird, to say the least.
right? And
I
more in the sense for Chavo, but that helped him more Eddie because it's kind of like okay,
I kind of didn't. I'll be honest with you, I didn't like that. That's when WCW would do these very off the grid, trying to be edgy, but it just came off as almost like humiliation. Like, what did he do? Who did he piss off backstage that they made him do this weird, unhinged? I don't freaking know.
well, this was still Bischoff running, right?
Yeah, yeah. I did not. I honestly did not care for that. I was like, okay, can we just make this man, you know, legit again?
I mean,
Kid's got talent.
yeah. Well, for Eddie's case, yeah, where he was very talented. Where when you look at him at the end of his career to where this is now, in terms of WCW we were talking about, he was still small.
Yes,
I think we need to also emphasize like his body shape, right? It was definitely smaller than it was before he died.
yes, it was much.
Where he was still in the cruiserweight division, and everybody has to go watch the Halloween Havoc match with Rey Mysterio, mask versus hair. Well, no, mask versus title because I remember he never really shaved his head until
Mm,
later on where he did that on his own. But
yeah,
like when you talk about like when we're talking about that match, the thing that really stands out is the backstory where that was supposed to be Ray's match to where he's going to drop the mask, and Eddie stood up for him and said, "No, I'm not doing that. What makes you like? What about
right,
that stands out in your opinion?"
right. Yeah. Uh, I love the fact that he stood up for him with that, because that was one of his best friends, family, basically. Extended family, and I'm sure he knew how much it meant for Ray to keep the mask, to keep that legacy going for all of them, because that's just so important in the lucha culture.
Right.
And you know, the only person that should decide to take the mask off is Ray, and I don't think he ever wanted to take it off.
Never, never.
Never, because even
But
when
it's
it did happen, you saw how emotional he was.
yeah,
Yeah.
because eventually when he did have to call, he had to call his uncle and tell him what's going to happen, and then
Mhm.
blah blah blah. But for Eddie's standpoint on that, where this is one of those rare politic moments where he's saying, "I will drop the belt. I don't give a shit."
Right.
This like that's one of the more unselfish actions of
Oh,
a wrestler we've ever heard of. Because most of the time we hear the politics side where I'm going over, brother.
he put Ray ahead of him. He put Ray's feelings and his Ray's family, again to say the word legacy, ahead of his own success, basically, and that's amazing. No,
Right.
especially in that era where everybody was just gunning for themselves, right?
Yeah.
And that just showed you, like, not just the kind of worker he was, but the human being that he was.
Yeah. And then as we get to the next part of his WCW run, I don't know. Have you heard the backstage story with the whole coffee incident
That sounds familiar, but I don't. It's not conjuring up any details in my head.
where they were like Eddie went up to Eric and asked him like, "What's the creative going forward?" Blah blah blah, and then Eric in like a fit of rage, like he didn't have any time for Eddie. He threw coffee at him, and
Oh,
or he spilled it on Eddie.
oh, I didn't. No, I don't think I have ever heard of that. No, that's messed up.
Really, I would have thought some people would have known about that, but anyway, that was what happened. So then Eddie comes out on one night show, cuts a promo, talks about Eric Bischoff with the pencil, like cutting these like shoot work promos.
Yeah,
How he's not getting a push or anything, and that was pretty much going around for a while. And then the LWO is formed
right.
when Eddie's walking in the middle of a luchador match, telling them like you have to stop fighting each other and start fighting them.
Yeah,
You give all the luchadors parody LWO shirts. Where I'm interested to hear your take on this because I think back then it was cool, but nowadays it's obviously a merch mover.
that's what it is. It's just a merch mover, because the reboot that happened in the last couple of years was horrible. I hate to say it. It was nothing what the LWO originally represented. Like you said, it was like a coup, right?
Right,
All the Latinos got together and they formed a coup against them.
right,
And they were the heels group, and they would do dastardly stuff along
right.
the way. And uh, you know, years later, WWE reboots it, and like you said, it was just to make money, just to
Yeah,
sell some T-shirts. And then they expanded it to put the Puerto Rican flag on it too because it has Zelina.
right.
And they even had a non-Latino in the LWO, which is like it was just wasn't genuine,
Yeah,
and they were happy-go-lucky faces.
yeah. Then even
Eh,
Eddie Guerrero's catchphrase is used in the theme song for them. But I mean, if that
Right.
was today, back then, I could kind of see the idea for it, where it was Eddie was like he was like, "Come on, we have to all fight together." Meanwhile, it's like he's using all of them. Like there'd be vignettes of like them throwing parties and some most stereotypical parties too, where like oh we're gonna hit the pinata now. Let's all have fun. Where's the mamacitas? Let's
That's right.
and it'd be like Parker's at the poker table. He's about to win, and he tells the Parker, "Go get more drinks." He takes the cards and he wins the hand for himself. Blah blah blah. And I don't know if you remember. There's definitely this where somebody stole something from his bag, and he wanted all the luchadors to unmask. And like as soon as like one luchador revealed his face, and he was like, "Oh, put that back on.
Put it
Put
back
that
up. Put
back
it
on." Right.
back on.
And it was like one of those things where they wanted Ray to join, but they forced him to join. But at that time too, NWO was still hot, and they just formed the Wolfpack too. So they was like, "Oh, we need a Mexican NWO." Or it was
Yeah,
like they were doing so many versions of one group, like even the Flock. Like there's so many shits going on in
it
WCW.
was. It was. Everybody was in a faction, basically.
Right,
Yeah.
excluding this. Meanwhile, it was like you had some WCW favorites, Goldberg, DDP, Booker T, like those types of guys that weren't never joining those groups. But it was
Right.
pretty much if you didn't have a shirt that said three letters, you were nothing in this
You were a
company.
nobody.
Right. But then, unfortunately, by the new year, 99, Eddie gets into a motorcycle accident, and this is where his drug
Right.
problems start
Hmm.
creeping up on him.
Right.
And definitely, it was one of those things where he definitely was nodding off and wasn't paying attention and got to a motorcycle accident.
Hmm.
And that pretty much kiboshed the whole LWO, where, like, as soon as the accident, but the following week, Flair, who was in charge on screen, of course, was pretty much like,
Right.
okay, all you guys are going to give you more money and more mamacitas, and like, just take the shirts off.
Yeah.
So pretty much the LWO didn't have a defining end to it. It was just okay, he's gone. We're not doing this anymore.
Right. Yeah. They just literally just put the kibosh on the whole idea.
I'm trying to blame them, but it's also one of those
Yeah.
things that sucked. Where it was like
Yeah.
it could have been something big for Eddie, but I don't know. We'll never know.
I know. Yeah.
But once he came back, you definitely saw just like 3 months later from him getting into an accident, where you definitely seen changes in his body.
Mhm.
Where it's especially upper body, where his
Mhm.
arms are starting to get big,
Yeah. They got big and wide. His shoulders. His
and
traps.
yeah, his vein. You start to. It's always the one vein on his arm that always throws me off because it, he's a small dude. He's like five
Yeah.
seven, and he has a bigger upper body than most of the
Yeah.
guys on the roster that are
He was
bigger than him.
and so lean from like the waist down. So he was just like shaped like a T almost.
Jericho I think, said that one of the wrestlers he came across in Japan, like he would call Eddie like a flamingo, like big upper body, tiny legs.
Skinny little legs. Yeah, he was. He was very narrow waist, hips, tiny little legs. Yeah. All his bulk was on top, and once he started working on that, it's like blew up.
Then I have to ask just to get this out of the way, but ever an Eddie crush? ever think he was cute or anything crazy
I
like
mean,
that?
I thought he was a handsome man, not my type, but his personality that when
Mm,
especially later on in his career was cute,
right.
but not to the point where I was like fawning for the guy. He wasn't one of those for me, unfortunately. I just
You
had
ever?
a ton of respect for him. That's what it is.
We'll save it for later. But I always was wondering, did you ever think he later on a little too thick?
But was that his doing?
He admitted it.
Yeah,
He said he did an interview on MTV. He says I pretty much portray the stereotypical Mexican.
Mexican. Yeah, the sleazy Mexican.
Yeah. But
Hmm.
'99 WCW he comes back, joins up with Eddie. No, joins up with Eddie. Joins up with Ray, Kidman, and Conan to form the Filthy Animals,
Animals. Yep.
who was one of those weird groups. I never knew whether baby faces or heels because they'd be like telling the crowd like get on your feet, like let's go, and then
Right.
they're burying Ric Flair in the desert. A moment later, it's like what are
Yeah,
you doing?
and the crowd would be, what was it, hooty hoo, right?
Um,
And the crowd would eat that up.
when the network came out, the night shows was like the first thing I binge watched. The fucking Hootie Hoos. I was having nightmares about the Hootie Hoos because it was just so stupid to hear that every week.
Yeah, they were like the fans were just, oh my god. And yeah, it was after a while. It was like, all right, enough with the fucking hooty hoo. Like a bunch of owls over here.
Right. So then, early 2000s, they changed bookers with Kevin Sullivan, and then at the same time, Chris Benoit becomes world champion. But Benoit, Guerrero, Malenko, and Saturn realized they're not going to go anywhere with this creative for WCW, so they take their ball and go to the WWF.
Yes.
Pretty much the week after Benoit wins the world title, which is insane to think about. But do you, what? Do you heard? Did you remember hearing anything about the switch, or what was your reaction to seeing them on WWF on your television?
Yeah, that was a trip for me. You know, it just showed up out of nowhere and just kind of invaded the ring, right?
Yeah,
And it was like,
showed up for a New Age Outlaws tag match,
yeah, and I'm
and
like,
the and it was
what?
like one of those awkward things too back then, where it's like you had JR and Jim Ross, like, or Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross be like, wait, we know who they are. Why are they here?
Yeah, they came out of nowhere. I think, right? Like Eddie did like the frog splash off the top rope, fully clothed.
Yeah,
Like that was such an impression. I was like, did I miss something? Were they just
like on the wrong program, people.
here? Like, wait, and then I'm like, are we having like a reverse, invasion, like when Razor and Diesel invaded WCW? That's
Right.
really what it kind of felt like to me. Like they were kind of just like, all right, we got these guys. Now it's our turn to do this, you know, outsiders kind of gimmick with these guys.
But there's no like reading the newsletter saying, oh, they left WCW and they're on the way to the WWF. Never hearing anything about that.
Can't remember, to be honest. I'm sure there had to have been some rag doing that.
Right.
Meltzer, what's that other guy, Raja, whatever. One of them, or PW Insider may have. Dude, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, they're definitely when you see their debut, the Radicals debut on Monday
Right,
Night Raw.
right.
Like you said, Eddie comes off the top with the frog splash, and then Benoit comes off the top with his headbutt,
His headbutt.
and then all four of them going to the back, and nothing's wrong. We're the part of the roster now.
Yeah, like, hey, we're here, except the.
Yeah, and then they're involved. They had the storyline. Well, had the little storyline with Triple H where they're trying to fight for their jobs, and this sucks in the sense for Eddie Guerrero because he has a tag match with him and Malenko against the Outlaws, and he goes for the frog splash, and on his landing, he breaks his arm.
Yeah, yeah, that was
And they
rough.
were supposed to win that match too, but they had to change the finish. But it's just like one of those awkward moments where, like, once he lands, he breaks his arm.
And it was like weeks, right? Like just a few weeks after they had um debuted, no?
It was like the same week. It was like on
Yeah,
that SmackDown when they had to fight for the
right.
contracts.
I remember that, and I'm like, well, that didn't work. Like for me, it almost felt like not karma, but like
Freak
this was
accident.
not a good sign for them. Like maybe they shouldn't have made that jump. At first, that's what you think,
Right. Well,
like
of all the freak accidents to happen.
horrible luck. Like that's what would be worse is just having that happen the very moment you debut and get injured.
Like, oh, you're very reliable. You just fucking broke your arm on a
Like,
frog splash.
like he's lucky that didn't happen when they invaded the ring that first time. God, that would have been
Mm.
even worse. Would have been like revoking your contract.
But to come in, turn heel immediately,
Yeah,
join the Triple H's regime, which when you're a fan back then, that was definitely one of those harder times to watch with Triple H, Stephanie, DX are in
yes,
charge. But
right. Yes, it
then to
was.
see these great wrestlers come in, you're like, oh, cool. And then they join up immediately. It's like, motherfucker.
I know. It's like let them rock on their own, man.
But for one of those rare instances where injury works, or at least not works, but helps, because
Yeah.
Eddie started to develop a little character where
Yeah.
we were famously known as Latino Heat, because he had a thing for big muscular women.
Yes, he did. He had his ultimate mamacita.
He saw China and was in love. What was your memories of what
Oh,
was your memory of initially this starting up?
I at first I was like, this is weird, but
Because he'd be like doing the little shimmy dance, like he'd be like, oh,
yeah,
like you're the ninth wonder of the world, you're my mamacita, and
mamacita.
China would have that reaction like,
Yeah.
ew,
At first,
right,
and it was cute. It started to, they had a really fantastic chemistry, and not like a sexual chemistry or that. That did not have. They did not have that at
right.
all. But you could
Which, by
see
the way,
that,
in his personal life, he was married and had kids already at
right?
that point.
Exactly. But you could see as two workers, and I'm sure they developed a great friendship while working together. Like
Right,
it just worked because it brought out a different side of China that we never saw. We
right.
always saw her as big tough China, and she kicks everyone's ass no matter how big they are. And then suddenly she just started to turn into this girly girl, right? And like he was flattering her and wooing her, and she would love every second of it. She was just enjoying the attention that he was giving her. She would just, it was cute as hell to me. It was adorable the way they did it.
It was like very polar opposites where she was the bigger of the two, so it would be
Yeah.
he kind of like have to look up a little bit, but
He'd be like, oh man, he loved her. He's like, oh.
like there would be like moments where like Perry or Dean would be like, oh, she like that's a tough broad with like big muscles, and he would be like, well, she has bigger things as well, like mentioning her breasts at that time.
Or like that episode where they was like, what was it, a prom or something like that? So she put on the tight red dress and it came out from behind the little screen, and he was all like, oh, take it off.
Yeah, I think that was the first time they pulled out the lowrider too.
Woo, yes,
Yeah, because
yes.
I remember like the payoff at the back the Sunday at Backlash, oh, we're going to prom. What do you mean you're going to prom?
They were going to
But they come
prom.
back to the pay per view, they do like a title match or something, and that was like that first moment where like when Lita rips the dress off of China and China's standing there in her bra and panties,
Yes.
and the crowd's going nuts, and then you just have Eddie in the corner just like doing his thing, being Latino Heat.
Losing his shit.
Yeah. But it was like one of those things where in this, and we talked about this with couples in wrestling as well, where one helped the other while the other one also did the same thing, where China would also help Eddie in the sense where Eddie would also give China that confidence too, where China was probably mortified to do all that stuff, but it would be like, come on, like you got it. We're like hyping her up too,
Yeah, you worked hard for that body.
right? And also with character building, where at that point in the year when you get to see like Eddie be like a user, abuser,
Yeah.
like around the time where China's doing Playboy, where like he got caught with like hose in the shower, and China would be like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Heartbroken, and
Right.
I felt like, and then you got to see that side of her where she was crying. Like, oh gosh.
It's very awkward and sad to see a big muscle woman crying, and like
crying over
cower in the
something.
corner with
Freaking
with
little
with Eddie
sleepy
screaming over her.
Yes.
Like, without me, you're
But
fucking nothing.
yes. Yes. He turned so he just flipped that script on her and I was like, what the hell? Like I
Which is
remember
one of
saying
those.
like, girl, get up and beat his ass.
That was the thing too, where it's like you could beat his ass, but she was just so emotionally
Right.
like traumatized. But it's
And
also
she was so codependent of him and his attention and the infatuation because it wasn't really love at the end when you realize it. She just loved that he
and you mentioned that Eddie could flip that switch where it was like you could see the fun loving Eddie, but then once he could be nasty, he can be nasty.
Yes, yes, he could be a real prick.
Where it's like I think there was like one episode where once again Eddie gets caught. Like he proposed to China the week before, they're gonna get married.
Right.
Then he gets caught again, and then China throws the ring at him.
Yes.
And then like Billy kind of comes to confront his friend China, and then Eddie's like, "Listen, take your ass loving ass out of here." It just beats up Eddie in the beats up Billy in the parking lot.
Yes. Yes.
Where like and that was definitely like peak Latino heat stuff.
Yeah, because that he really got to show his depth of character, where you saw the little charmer, and then you saw how cruel he could be, and how heartless he was.
Right. Because I
You
think
know, when
after
he
that there
wanted
was
something,
really
he would do whatever it took.
because after that I don't think they really did any more storylines with Eddie in that sense.
No,
Because you think
no.
going forward is pretty much what we'll get into it with the evolve his character, but
Mhm.
by the time in 2001, it's sad to say his drug problems his demons, as he always referred to it as,
Yes.
started creeping up. Where he'd be in the locker room, passed out most nights, and then one night, unfortunately, Benoit Blanco had to go to higher ups and tell him, "Listen, this dude is not right. He's fucked up,"
Right.
and he got fired for it,
Right. Yes.
which is one of those unbelievable sentences you can't like they fired Eddie Guerrero.
Right.
And nobody really understood why at that point, but
Right. Yeah. It was. I remember when he did get fired, and it was kind of, like you said, it was kind of under wraps. Back then, they didn't really release much of those details like they do now.
right.
Just knew he was released, but it was just weird because, like, why? Like you said, of all of them, why would you release Eddie? Like, what happened there?
Right. Because I
People are
remember
questioning.
watching during the invasion where it was noticeable for me at least, like, where's Eddie? Because he was on television, he was doing a storyline where it was like him like being friendly with the Hardys, and then all of a sudden he's gone.
Right.
So I thought
Right.
maybe he got injured and then just not saying it on television, but it was like he was gone for the whole invasion.
Mhm. Mhm.
And you
And
would have
then,
thought maybe he could have been a major player in that storyline because of his WCW, ECW ties, but
and then
nowhere to
suddenly
be seen.
he pops up in like Ring of Honor.
Yeah, which for me, learning about Ring of Honor years later and seeing he actually wrestled for them early on, it's
Yeah.
kind of one of those like, crazy things. Where also you see him fighting a young CM Punk and a Rey Mysterio without a mask, also like on the Independence, and
Yes. Yes.
he got big.
Yes, he did.
Like his upper body definitely morphed into something like big people would have like it'd be like bowling balls shaped on his back and just with skin peeled all over it.
I remember that
Where
very clearly.
like for me too, it's like it never seemed off. I don't know why.
Mhm.
Because I guess I
Yeah.
was just used to seeing like like this fucking Triple H, who's bigger than the Hulk. Eddie Guerrero is just is just a guy that loves upper body workouts. I don't know.
Yes. He
But it was just this. He was so small to compared to everybody else on the roster, but his upper
yeah,
body stood out.
it did. It did. But yeah, yeah. I feel like when he popped up
Proportionately, he didn't look right.
when he popped up in Ring of Honor, I forget how long it was after he had the release from WWE. I forget.
I think
Um,
he was. I think he got released by the summer
but
or
it was a
spring.
few. So yeah, yeah, because he debuted in February of 2002 in Ring of Honor.
Right.
the first show, their very first show. I was there with my brother, and I don't know if I'm just imagining it, if I'm having a Mandela effect, but I could remember when he came out and my brother saying, "Holy crap, he got huge!"
Yeah.
Physically, you know.
He got huge. He grew out his hair to like
He had the mullet.
the long
Yeah,
mullet, the shaved sides.
yeah. It was an impressive transformation. Like he actually he elevated himself with that look. I was like, whoa, look at him.
But I
I
think
guess
it's also to point. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
Mhm.
he was also very quick, and like despite his body growing, he never lost that speed of
N-
his.
Not at all.
Everything still looked crisp as fuck.
Yes, yes. It was it was awesome to see him though. Like, yeah, he wrestled what, Super Crazy, I think,
Yeah, I
and
think. Yeah, he wrestled crazy. He wrestled Amazing
yeah,
Red,
Red, and he teamed with Red against
Ryan
SAP.
Excel, who of House of Glory fame.
Right, right. And I just remember the crowd when he came out. It was like, oh,
Like heroes welcome.
like this is amazing. Yeah, I mean, come on. No matter what, people love Eddie, and just to see him in that kind of atmosphere in a freaking rec center gym after we just saw him on WCW and WWE TV, to see him here right in front of us and kind of just be like this raw. There was no character. He wasn't Latino heat. He was just Eddie Guerrero, and he came out and just put on a show for us. And we were like, I remember thinking to myself, yo, what the fuck was WWE thinking?
Right.
Like
But that'd be a reason why you're not on television right now.
exactly. But it's like, holy crap! Like this guy was like, just there's no reason for him. I mean, it was awesome. Don't get me wrong. I love the fact that he was on that show. I don't think I remember even seeing him on the card before. I didn't really actually look at the card. I just went with my brother. Like, all right, let's check it out. So when he came out, it was just like, crap, this is amazing.
It's definitely one of those things as a wrestling fan where when you see him wrestling for like Madison Square Garden or like in the Prudential Center in Jersey, and
Right.
then he's like, in a tiny little building like a nightclub or a gymnasium
Like I just reach out and
in
touch
front
him.
of 100 people,
Yeah.
and, he's,
It was
and
like, I wondered what went through his mind when he did that. Like, damn, I can't believe I have to wrestle in this freaking place in the middle of Philadelphia, out in the middle of
well,
nowhere.
from what I saw in his shoot interview at that time, where he was pretty much just having
I
fun at
never
that
got to
point.
watch
But it's also at that time too where he was fighting his demons. He was getting back with his wife Vicky at the time, trying to
Yeah.
get his life together.
Yeah.
Because once WrestleMania 18 is in the books, all of a sudden on Monday Night Raw, the first Raw with a new brand split, Eddie Guerrero comes back, attacking
Mm-hmm.
Rob Van Dam, and then that was one of those first things where Frog Splash versus 5 Star Frog Splash. It was like, oh, that's very cool to see.
Yes.
But and then once people saw him, he was still be called Eddie Guerrero, Latino Heat, but he never really like the stuff with China, but like physically and presentably, he was just Eddie Guerrero, the wrestler. Where also, I need to ask you about that theme song he had early on,
Which one?
the with the Latino Heat theme song.
The I lie, I cheat, I steal. That
No,
one.
with the Mamacitas, with the
Oh, the Mamacita. I liked it. I never had any issues with his theme music. I thought that they all fit his phases
right.
pretty well. Yeah, I like them. I like the theme song.
Because early on, when like, he had that like the Latino Heat song, he would come in with the roses, wait for China, and then give her to her, and then she'd be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
Eddie,
Yeah.
oh, Eddie." And meanwhile, like most of the time, there was a pipe in the fucking roses, but that was when like they were doing heel stuff. But then it's like he comes back,
Yeah.
still has that theme song, and then like early on, like I don't think anybody really knows this, but he was kind of supposed to be Stone Cold's last feud.
Really?
I'm saying last feud because that was when Austin then took his ball and went home.
And went home, right? He was like, I'm out of here. Right, right,
Right,
right,
because
right.
the Austin had his creative problems, but it would have
Yeah.
been something for him to do. Like, hey, you're working with Stone Cold Steve Austin right now.
Right? Yeah, yeah. To come back and do that, like, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because then, like when the summer hits, they change GMs. Eric Bischoff goes to Raw. Stephanie McMahon's in charge of SmackDown. I think there's still stemming issues from when Eddie was in WCW. So I think
With what's his face? Yeah.
with Bischoff, yeah. So they pretty much traded him and like shoe trade, like him and Benoit to SmackDown, which would be the best career thing for this man because he becomes a part of the SmackDown Six,
Yeah.
where it's him, his nephew,
Mhm.
Benoit, Angle, Mysterio, and Edge.
Yeah.
Where I didn't realize this, but they had the best ratings that whole year in 2002
I mean,
on
SmackDown
on
was
SmackDown.
fire in 2002. I will not. That's one thing. They were trumping Raw in terms of storylines and the action. Like that was the show to watch in 2002. Like Raw was just like the soap opera of
Yeah,
the two brands, right? And if you wanted to watch real
wrestling.
action in the ring, yeah, it was SmackDown. I don't know
But
if
to
that was
this,
intentional or it just evolved in that way, but because of how they, divvied up
I mean, to
the
this day,
roster.
they still have that philosophy of Raw is going to be the A show, but it's going to have the
Right.
more storyline based stuff where
Yeah.
a lot of people that are the great wrestlers, but they're going to be talking a lot more. On SmackDown, you see some talking, but a lot of wrestling.
Yeah. It's not as well executed as it was 20 some odd years ago, unfortunately.
And if we can be fair here, Eddie was a better wrestler than he was a talker, but as a talker, he wasn't the worst. But he definitely just showed off a lot more. I mean, there'd be a lot of stuff he would say that would try and get people to laugh.
I mean, he had the personality when necessary to cut a promo. Like when he had the mic, he showed that side of him that he could. He wasn't The Rock. He wasn't,
That's
but
yeah.
but his promos were entertaining.
Did you ever like when he incorporated like a little Spanish into his promos, where like he would say something in English and then immediately translate it?
I never liked that.
Really?
I don't know. I just feel like it's. I
Did
never
it feel
liked
did it
it.
feel forced?
Yeah, especially like Ray does that a lot, right? Like Ray does that every chance he gets, and it's like,
Mm,
bro, like you don't have to speak in two languages at once. This isn't Duolingo.
mm, right.
Okay, I get that you want to do the Spanish, or just do a Spanglish, like mix it up.
Right.
Well, you can mix it up, or like kind of like how Priest does. He will speak in Spanglish. He'll mix it up. Well, when he has time on camera and on the
I
but
mean, even when Bad Bunny made some appearances, he did similar things.
right, exactly.
I don't know if
Yeah.
that's just like an instinct thing for them to do, where it's like if
I
I
think
don't
they're
know.
just told say it in Spanish to show you speak Spanish, and then say the same exact thing in English so that our audience can understand.
I feel like that's that you probably hit the nail on the head. That's probably like a note.
Yeah,
Like whatever word you just said, say it in Spanish.
exactly.
Or just say a Spanish phrase that you know that will get the crowd to go, yay.
Yeah, exactly. Like just make your promo even that much longer.
Or even shorter, depends.
Right.
But
Uh
so they pair him up with his nephew where he's pretty much they go away. I don't remember the time on this, but they were wrestling on TV and then you'd see vignettes of them two riding around neighborhoods, especially white neighborhoods. And then they just be like, hey, can we help you fix your pool?
and,
And then
and
they turn the
steal
whole
the
thing
whole pool.
into a pool party.
Oh, your
And then
car broke down? We could change your tire. Car's gone.
there was one weird one too, because the whole thing was to get over the lie, cheat, and stealing, where there was a woman with her baby walking down the street, and of course they're like, okay, let's steal something from the like anything like stole like the woman's wallet, but then Child was like, oh, I stole the kid's lollipop.
Yeah, it was just that was a weird one. Like not the
Right.
baby. You're not gonna steal the baby, are you?
Yeah, you definitely had like they're not about to do the most stupid thing or the
Yeah.
racist thing, right?
Oh, yeah. I remember thinking that like, no, don't go there, please. Don't do
But
this.
as far as Los Guerreros, like, do they rank high to you, or pretty much For me, it's one of those fun tag teams you can look back on, like, oh, they had great matches, but it was also I remember the hijinks they always did.
Oh yeah, yeah. When I think of one, I think of the other. I think of that time, like not so much when they were working together in WCW doing the whole uncle, you know, abusing his nephew kind of shit. This for me was how they stood out was when they were both doing these silly, you know, acting sleazy together,
Like
being these little tricks together. It's almost like Chavo made it
right.
and gained Eddie's respect as his nephew, and like, it's like, oh, he
And you
made
can
it.
tell both of them having fun going with doing all this stuff.
How can you not? It's like, I mean, yeah. Looking back, you're like, God, that was so stereotypical of them, of course, but that was WWE at the time, right?
Right.
They never steered away from that kind of controversial character growth for these guys. But yeah, it was always fun once they were on camera. You just couldn't help but wonder, what are they going to do next?
Right. It's also this is where it starts the thing that we see a lot nowadays, where people show tribute for Eddie, where they grab a chair, smack it hard on the ring mat, and then throw it to the person, and then fall down like they got hit with the chair.
And they, yeah.
Then the big
They're
ref
like,
turn around and go, "Wait, did you just hit him with the chair?"
no, I didn't. I don't know why I'm
Ring the bell, DQ, Eddie wins, blah blah blah.
It's one of the tropes that never gets old. No matter how many times they do it, you're like, here we go, but it just works.
And it'll always be best because like Eddie would then pick his head up, just like look around, make sure like it worked, or the referee's distracted, because then either he continued playing dead or he magically get up, like, oh, I'm good, I'm good,
And then the ref
keep
is like,
going,
what?
right, and then go do his frog splash. But it would be silly things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, you probably don't remember this, but they had a match with the Bashams who had the Shaniqua in the corner,
Yeah.
and Eddie
Yes.
took the whip because
I
she was like,
actually, you just mentioned that, but I actually just saw that on Instagram like a few days ago. Somebody posted it on one of their pages, and I was like, "Oh my God, I forgot about
she had a
this."
dominatrix gimmicks, and
Yes.
Eddie took the whip from her, and then whipped the shit out of Nick Patrick, and then
Yes.
gave the whip to one of the Bashams, and Eddie, of course, plays dead, and Nick Patrick's like, "What the hell are you?"
Holding the whip. Yeah, that's exactly what the clip that I saw, and I was cracking up. I'm like, yo, this guy was pull off this freaking. It wasn't me with anything and everyone.
You know, the thing that, like I said, like Ghost Girl was one of those memorable tag teams, but the problem was at that time they never really focused on the division. How they really focus on it now, but
Yeah.
like around that time, like I would have loved to see them against the Hardys or the Dudleys, but like they were on SmackDown. They had. I'm not saying like they're bad teams, but it was like you had Benjamin and Haas, you had the Bashams, like lower tier teams.
Yeah.
Whereas like if they had like the Edge of Christian spot of like working with the great tag teams,
Yes.
they'd be remembered more for their tag team.
Yeah, because their stuff fit better with guys like the Hardys and the Dudleys. Like you said, they could have been the new, TLC trio tag
Right.
teams. They could have pulled off some amazing, even probably maybe even more amazing than when Edge and Christian were involved in those matches.
Maybe because at that time too, they had the Hardys split up. Matt was doing his version 1 stuff, and the Dudleys were on
Yeah,
Raw.
yeah,
It's always like the what it could have been, but like that's why Los Guerreros really doesn't rank high on most people's list for best
yeah,
tag teams.
yeah,
The most entertaining tag team.
yeah. They remember more for the hijinks and less for the matches because they just didn't have those eventful ones.
Right, and then like around the time, like Chavo unfortunately went down with injuries for Eddie. The singles run where he would become the first U.S. champion.
Hmm.
Then he had I can't remember. I can't believe the sport. The John Cena feud where they feud in the parking lot,
Yes,
the famous parking lot brawl.
yes,
But then there was like once the new year was hitting, you could definitely feel they wanted to push Eddie more, but Chavo was kind of there, like kind of like an anchor on him. I don't know how that's what it felt like to me.
yeah,
But like he started losing the U.S. title, he lost the tag titles, and then He had his nephew Chavo was calling him like a loser, like you're not gonna do anything, like
Mhm.
I'm better than you, blah blah blah. So then
Mhm.
Chavo
Mhm.
turns on him and they go their separate ways. So then Eddie, and then this is one of those quick things too, where after the Rumble, he gets a shot at Brock Lesnar for the WWE title at No Way Out 2004,
Mhm.
and he wins it first shot.
Yeah.
As a
Yeah.
fan, your reaction was
Uh, Shock. Like who would have thought that the person to dethrone Brock gigantic Lesnar was little Eddie Guerrero?
well,
I was I was thrilled. I was thrilled. I was like, especially when you didn't really see guys of his stature, physical stature, winning the world title that much. I
right.
think one of the last few guys that was that tall was probably Shawn Michaels or Bret Hart.
At,
With
at that point, yeah,
Yeah, because after that it was like you had the big guys like Austin's a big dude, The Rock, Triple H, and Brock obviously, and to see this guy who, for the majority of his career, was more like the comedy guy,
common
right?
mid Carter, yeah,
Right, to be shot out of a rocket, basically,
yeah,
and
because
give
like
it that
he had
chance.
because I remember watching it week when I was watching week to week, it was just oh, you feud with your nephew to now you win
Right.
a Royal Rumble version on SmackDown, and now you're in the main event scene where it's like,
Yeah.
and there's also like, everybody. This clip goes around everywhere. Brock Lesnar doing the mariachi band thing, and but nobody really highlights the promos that Eddie was cutting, where he would be like real,
Right.
like like you got
Right.
to see the real or hear
Yeah.
Eddie Guerrero be like, yes, I have demons. I fucked up so much in my past,
He
but
wasn't
but
being a cha-cha guy, right?
he wasn't being Latino. He was pretty much being Eduardo Guerrero,
Exactly.
and like it's I can think also too where people are like, oh, like well nobody really brings up but the Goldberg thing, but that's beside the point. But Eddie going on top here in the frog splash, winning, jumping in the crowd, and people holding up the Mexican flag for him,
Yeah.
which was funny enough. When I think I mentioned this to you, but somebody said that was a plant
Maybe.
all those years ago because like that finish was just too perfect.
Yeah.
Eddie Guerrero jumps in the crowd with the title, and there's all of a sudden there's a Mexican flag, and he just
Yeah.
raising it up and just holds up both.
Yeah, it most likely was a plant. Like make sure you grab that flag from that random fan.
Right.
Yeah, because what city was No Way Out that year?
San Francisco.
Yeah, I mean if it was like San Diego,
Mm.
I would be like, no, there's everybody in there had a Mexican flag. San Francisco, maybe, but yeah, it just felt like it was too perfectly placed for him to just jump in, like you said, jump in the crowd and grab the flag
Right.
and celebrate. Yeah.
And this is no disrespect for what I'm about to say, but when we go to House of Glory show, we see one flag all the time, and there's many flags of I don't want to say it wrong, but it's the Dominican Republic flag, right?
Puerto Rican flag.
My apologies,
Yeah.
but like for Mike Santana, where if he wins a match, a flag is being raised like the fucking like America flag too.
Right.
All hero, our
Exactly.
hero. But that's why in 2004 for Eddie in February, nobody really expected that.
Mm-mm.
And
It
then
was mind
and then
blowing.
and there was like, oh, WrestleMania's around the corner. What are we gonna do? Kurt Angle, the American Hero, which was an
Right.
interesting story too, where it was interesting, but it's also they had to use the. I always felt this was a crutch towards the end of Eddie's career, where the demons, like you're a
Yeah.
fucking drug addict. You went to
Right.
jail. Like it felt like every week with Eddie when he was the champion.
Yeah.
Like even past that point, when JBL, the new George Bush character, is popping up on SmackDown, just every week with this.
Yes. Yes. It's like they wanted to show that he
Was the common man.
overcame he overcame the obstacles of that dark side of him to become world champion, but he can't forget about it because without it, he wouldn't be where he is, no matter what. Like it was just weird. Like, all
Yeah.
right, like, can we, how about we move forward from that? Like he cleaned himself up. He's a
Yeah.
world champion. Now let's focus on him doing good with his life, good in the
It's
ring.
it's also like he doesn't need any more sympathy. I'm an Eddie Guerrero fan. I whatever he did in the past, he solved it. He
It
fixed it.
happens. He's human.
Right.
But they had that habit. Like somebody had a real freaking addiction, and they wanted to use that in storylines. They did it with, a hawk. It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
They made him jump off a Titantron.
It's like, is this intentional? Like in a way of like, don't ever forget what you did, or we fired you for this reason, so we're gonna keep reminding you this so that you don't. I
I mean, you would have to think Eddie also approved of it. It's not like he
I
goes
would.
to work every week and they say, "Guess what we're bringing up today?"
Like, oh no.
Be like, "Oh, come on."
I would think so. But I don't know how much say they all had back then too.
Right.
Whatever Mr. McMahon said.
I guess, but it's also like Mr. McMahon definitely or Vince definitely loved him. I mean, he liked him a lot. Like we've seen the video of like when Eddie goes backstage, he's like he's thanking Vince profusely, and Vince gives him the big hug.
Yeah, yeah.
'Cause I think that, like Vince could be a devil or an asshole, but it's like he cared for some people.
Yeah, I
You
would think.
think you would have to think,
I would think so. Yeah. I don't know if it was he genuinely care for them as a human, or he cared for them because he saw money in them. But you know,
right. But then like Eddie's run really didn't last long,
hmm
and apparently from the boys at the time, he was very upset about that because he felt like he could have done more. Where at that time the houses weren't like drawing as much as they wanted it to,
yeah,
and he took that as an insult. He took that pretty much. He put that on his burden.
yeah,
That was his fault,
yeah,
which I
yeah.
think at that point wasn't fair for him to do.
No, not at all. Yeah, I do remember going to house shows in the area, and they weren't full.
Right.
But you know, people were more interested in Raw and SmackDown. The
Right.
house shows back then were just, you know,
There was
copy,
always
paste, repeat.
there were always the B show, and they didn't have the star power Raw had.
Right.
Where
Oh,
at that time,
absolutely.
I mean, it's Eddie Taker. Cena's still on the rise. He's about to become the top star.
Mhm.
So, I mean, they take the title off Eddie. He's pretty much for the remainder of the year top mid card. I mean, he has a feud with Kurt still for the remainder of the year, which was good. And then 2005 hits, they start the feud with him and Ray, where it's like you are my family. Like nothing's ever gonna come between us. But it's when they have wrestling matches, Ray always beat him.
Right.
And that was an interesting story looking back on it, where it was like Eddie was like, "Oh, I love you," but it's like, "God damn it, I'm better than you. I know I
Yes.
could beat you."
Yes.
Like you can see it in his face, where like you can tell like he's got a snap.
Yes. It was like that sibling rivalry that started turning into envy. Right.
And like you had Chavo be like, "I do nothing." He's like his last name is Mysterio. He's not a Guerrero.
Right.
And I would just say like I don't care about that. He's my brother. And
Right.
then like after one too many losses, he just snaps and beats the shit out of him, rips the
Ugh.
mask off his face, brainbuster on the steel steps, which still looks nasty to this day. But then you have like Eddie doing those like I guess I would say one of his famous promos where he's talking to the mask.
Yes.
Like it's like he's talking to Ray. He's like, "Why'd you make me do this? Like
He'll
like
hold it up. Yeah.
do you think this makes me happy?" Or and there's like it's like, "Do you think I wanted to do this?" Like he pretty much snapped.
Yeah. Yeah. That side of him was
Scary.
very scary, completely different than what we had ever seen. Even though we've seen him do his dastardly stuff, but this wasn't just dastardly. This was like straight up the range and evil.
It was pretty much evil because you never saw that violent side of him. He was like if he was angry, he would see him lose his temper.
Right.
They always had a point of saying Eddie has a temper, but it was
Right. But
dialed more.
and to see him do it to his best friend, right? The
Right.
person that he said was his brother. Like it just made it even more um impactful.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it's one of those things where what else can we do to up the stakes? And then they saw this little blonde boy who was just playing his PSP in the back and say, "You're going to be on television, little
um,
Dominic."
like, hey, are you Ray's son?
I think
Yeah.
not for nothing. That question still gets fucking raised to this day with people because that's what everybody remembers.
Yeah. Who's your daddy?
I'm your poppy.
Yeah.
It was also one of
Oh,
those. Like I remember how it started too, because like Eddie would be like, you'd see him go to the playground, and then he go to Dominic like, "I got to tell you a bedtime story," and then it's like
Uncle Eddie.
where are we going with this?
I know. At first, I was like, this is inappropriate.
Hmm.
Like,
You're exploiting children on national
yeah,
television.
why is this little boy? I mean, whether or not he really is the son of Rey Mysterio, we knew he was, but it's like, who approved this?
It was always also the way that was like the one where at the jungle gym, and then Dominic's like, "I love you, Uncle Eddie." Like, then he gives him the hug, and then
Eddie.
Eddie has that sinister smile on his
Yeah.
face, like you just
Over his shoulder, like,
right.
oh my god, I don't
But
know that.
there was it was also one of those funny things where they do the match. Ray wins. Ace says he's not gonna say it. And then that week on TV, he goes like, "I lie," and they blurts out like Dominic, "I'm your father. I'm your poppy."
Yes.
And
Oh, the poor little Dominic's face was like,
I think I heard recently he was on Logan's show, and he said he got $100 a week. I think he said,
Dominic?
yeah, for all of his appearances.
Like a little,
I think they gave him $100 too.
that's some big time money for an 8-year-old.
Right, but they said, like, funny enough, he goes, "My dad would put it in a savings account, and I
He
wouldn't
never
touch
saw it
it
again.
until one day we go to the store, and then it's something I want to buy."
Well, that's how you learn responsibility.
At a young age. And then he mentioned like he would go to school and people would talk to him about it. He'd be like, "No, no, no, it's all good, it's all good." Or
Like,
he'd play it up like, "I get to be on TV and miss school." Like that was like the fun thing for him. But for Eddie, it's one of those character building moments where again you see a more sadistic side of this asshole.
yeah, just heartless. Like,
I
bro, what are
mean,
you doing? Not only are you trying to imply like this is your kid, you're trying to imply that you had an affair with your best friend's wife, bro. What are you doing?
I don't see. I remember it as he had an affair with another woman, but then gave him up and gave him the like. And then Ray, I think the problem was they didn't really explain this too well. But then I like
Yeah,
realized or found out later that apparently he fathered this boy Dominic,
mm-hmm.
but didn't want to raise him on his own or like bring him over to Vicky because Vicky would get pissed off. So then
All right.
Ray was struggling to have children, so it was like here, have him.
It's so
I
stupid.
think I feel like that's how they play it off on television.
Yeah, they probably did some stupid freaking. I don't freaking know.
Then you had Ray on TV who would also like show emotion even when he had a mask on. Like the
Right.
first person out of his mouth was Dad, and then you just have Eddie be like shut up, just give him my son, and like the segment was like the social worker who. If you ever
Yes.
notice when they bring outside actors in, they suck compared to the wrestlers that are doing the acting too.
And who is you? Are you sure this is an actor, not just somebody that worked backstage with a
Who's this
concession
agency that
stand,
they use?
a
They,
concession stand person, and they were like, "Hey, you want to be on TV tonight?"
I mean, shit, that would probably do better than most of the actors they hire, but like they do the ladder
Yeah.
match, they do a cage match. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that ladder match, but them two never killed each other
Yeah. That match was brutal.
for a stupid stip too with the custody of Dominic. But I mean, they would.
Dominic on a ladder match.
What was it like? Dominic in a shark cage hanging over the ring. Like people would edit it where like he's hanging above the rings.
Put his
Stupid
little self
shit.
in there with his little bleach blonde hair. Oh, he was such a cute little boy. He really was.
Look at him now.
Who'd have thought?
Eddie Guerrero's proud son.
I'm telling you, I like remember I said that in our chat recently. Like, I'm surprised they never went that route with having him be, Dominic Guerrero and not Dominic Mysterio to really stick it to Ray.
Yeah, but I think the way they're doing it now is perfect because, like, remember a couple weeks ago where Ray mentioned Eddie Guerrero, Dominic's like, with straight face, don't you dare mention my father's name.
I know.
And the crowd just like goes crazy because it just sounds ridiculous after all these years.
Yes.
It also shows like they remember their stupid storylines.
Yeah,
But
this is like the most long-term storytelling that
yeah, but then that
in
really wasn't the end.
history.
That wasn't the end for Eddie because then his final
No.
feud, unfortunately, would be with Batista, who at the
Yeah.
time was not happy to be on the B show. He was used to being on the A show. Triple H was his
Right.
workout buddy. He missed him a lot, but got to work with Eddie, and then we got to see like the new Eddie Guerrero, where he'd be like Dave Batista, you're my best friend. You're the animal. Like I love you, and Batista be like, yeah, Eddie, we're friends.
Right. I remember that.
Right, and then like Batista would be the one to they do they would try to use some humor with this feud where like Eddie would say like, oh, like I got a stomach bug, like I'm not gonna be able to wrestle, and then Batista would bring in a doctor.
Yeah.
And he'd be creepy doctor, be like I'm gonna put my fingers up your ass to make sure you're good.
Yeah, I remember
like
that.
weird stupid shit like that. But then it was like Batista's like, oh, I got you a present, and then like the low rider would come back. Then we got to see like the old Eddie come back for a little bit for the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
And wrestled his last match on SmackDown against Mr. Kennedy, one of the new future guys on the roster.
Which is so funny because I must have either not watched that episode or I completely blacked it out because I remember it being Mr. Kennedy.
Right.
I was like, this is Mr. Kennedy.
Really? Yeah. It's also one of those things we didn't realize, like, by the time, like, Eddie passed, it was like, oh, not also Mr. Kennedy's on his way in. It was like, it never really felt right.
I think maybe Eddie's passing kind of, like, overshadowed that last match, in a way.
Yeah. Because it also felt like, I remember Kennedy coming on the scene more the following year.
Yes.
Not in 2005. I thought Kennedy was more of a 2006 dude.
Yeah.
But it was also like one of those like Survivor because they were doing like Raw versus SmackDown, so Eddie was supposed to be on the SmackDown team with Batista, Ray. I think Randy and JBL at the time. Lashley was his replacement, but we never got to really see because that weekend after the show, he was found unconscious in his hotel room, holding a toothbrush. He was pretty much just ready to go to bed in Minneapolis, and then he collapsed on the floor.
Yep.
Called Chavo, who they were traveling with at the time. And pretty much, Chavo says like he heard him like breathe his last breath.
Yeah.
Which is like one of those things that sucks to see or sucks to hear as a fan.
Yeah.
Because especially for me, like I remember when I was starting to get into wrestling and I heard about what happened to Owen, but never really grasped that situation. But for this, it was like surreal.
Right. Yeah.
The guy I see every week is now gone.
Exactly. Someone who was just so alive, right? He has so much life to him and personality, and he got extinguished.
Right.
It's such a weird feeling.
It's just weird that like, everything that like, when they talk about his demons, it all caught up to him.
Yeah, and that's the thing that you would think like it. My experience with people who have addiction, they either know how to hide it very well, or they just can't, right? And I think at that point he may have been hiding it so well, acting like, yes, I have my demons, I am an addict for life, but I'm good now, but not realizing that he still had his moments of weakness. He still was using, or still dependent on certain medications or whatnot.
No.
It all caught up to him, like you said. Like it gets to a point where you can't hide it.
Well,
You cannot hide it. And I think he must have tried to hide it so much from everyone that it was just too late.
because coming from reading wrestlers' accounts of how he was towards the end, where well, when they also mentioned his addictions, he was addicted to alcohol, he was doing painkillers and doing steroids at the same time because
Right.
nobody got that upper body
No.
naturally. He was abusing,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I think by the time in 2005, I want to say that he was definitely feeling the effects where he wasn't doing alcohol. He found God, like he wasn't doing alcohol. He was on the up and up.
Yeah.
But they would say that after every match, you'd go straight to the trainer's room and ice his body down, where like physically he was deteriorating. But he was
Mhm.
deteriorating from the inside where nobody knew.
Yeah. Right. And and he probably didn't want to continue being in so much pain, but at the same time didn't want to tell people, "Hey, I gotta start using this, opioid again," or "I just need to get a drink in my system just so I could calm." Like he
But
probably just, ugh,
also the problem was where a lot of people, like Jericho said it best, where pretty much Eddie refused to ask off.
right.
Where if like Jericho knew, like if Eddie would have went to Vince and say, "Listen, I need some time off, I need to rest my body," because he was nonstop. Let's be
Right.
real. He was nonstop when he came back in 2002.
Mm-hmm.
He was on the tours. He did everything. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there was no
Fighting,
breaks.
everything. Yeah.
Where it's like, and Vince would have definitely said yes, but it's also that moment where Eddie was. It was definitely pride. I feel where he just didn't want to say, "I need a break," because then
I
he'd
need
feel
help.
because he felt like, or he would feel, "I'm letting you down."
Right. Like, you gave me a second chance. I don't want to fuck it up.
Exactly. I mean, also Benoit, when we get to his episode, he was the exact same way. Never
Mhm.
wanted to take time off. Always wanted to go, 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 go. And then,
Yeah.
unfortunately, his body just said no, enough.
Yeah. And it's like, it doesn't even matter what you do for a living, whether you are a wrestler or you work in front of a laptop all day. Your body, your brain, and your body can only take so much without stopping for yourself.
Right.
If your body and your mind is telling you, hey, slow down, or you need to stop working so much, or you need to, cut back on all these long hours that you're doing, you're burning the candle at both ends, something's going to break. Whether it's your
Right.
body or your brain, something's going to break.
Right.
And yeah, it's never going to be pretty.
Mm. So after that, we pretty much had the tribute shows that week on
Oh,
television for him,
oh, God, those were so
and
hard to watch.
it was definitely hard
I feel
visually
like
to see from that
like,
Monday Night Raw when they had the roster on the stage, and you could just see it in their faces. Oh, for like especially like for Kurt, for Chavo, for like
wow.
Triple H, Benoit,
Oh,
like Big
oh,
Show, like all breaking down.
yeah, I'll never forget when they did the little talking heads where they would talk about him,
Right.
and just seeing Chris Benoit, just he couldn't even get a word out because he was just sobbing his
I
face
saw
off.
that recently. It's like a 2 minute clip too.
It's just so painful to watch, and I'm like, this, that really, I mean, that really was the beginning of the end for him too.
I think somebody said it best too, where you could see where his heart breaks. That like once like because he would talk, and then all of a sudden he just break down, his face full of tears.
Oh, and to see somebody who was always so stoic, right?
Mr. Intensity,
Right. Never showed any emotion ever. To see him it just,
right.
yeah, that was hard to watch, and it's just, like I said, for me, I know that was one of his very best friends, somebody you were on the road with all the time. You saw him more than you saw your own family, and then
Right.
they're gone.
Right.
Like you came up with him, you've known each other for ages, and then they're gone. It's just, you have two options: is to let the grief overcome you or try to beat the grief. But he definitely let that grief overcome him, because I know that took him down to the
Yeah.
inevitable.
And I will say WWE did do a good job on the tribute that week. I mean, they pretty much just ditched all storylines for that one
Oh
week and gave it all to Eddie. Where
It was
It
beautiful.
wasn't just on Monday on SmackDown too. You had a lot of talking heads talked about Eddie Guerrero's stories, memories,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of matches too. They put on
Laughter.
too. That they
Yeah, it was all dedicated to him.
and they pulled out matches too that you never saw at that time too. I mean, Ray versus Shawn Michaels on Monday Night Raw.
Shit, man.
Right. Funny enough,
Yeah,
and you
rematch.
know, and the funny enough too, in that main event on Raw, first time ever, John
Mm,
Cena and Randy Orton.
right. After how like 3 years?
Well, yeah, it was like in 2005. That was the first time
Like
they put them
it
two
came in
together, and it's on the Eddie Guerrero
2002.
tribute show.
Like this should have been one of their first feuds coming in.
Right, and then they had like Regal and Flair have a technical wrestling match in honor, and then it was
Ah,
like then it's like it really hit me on that SmackDown when they did Triple H and Chris Benoit, and
yeah.
then Triple H tap out for Chris, and then Chris once the match was over, tears once again
Tears.
down his face, and you just had Triple H embrace him,
Oh
saying
man,
like it just. And
it's
you know
just
what? The thing that sucks too is that for a guy like Chris, then there was like, okay, time to go on the European tour.
yeah. Okay, well, the world. That's the thing, man. When you lose someone, the world does not stop for you.
Right. Again, like we'll get into it later, but that could have been situation avoided. But it's definitely just like one of those like I'm not gonna like say like WWE's in the wrong, but it's like one of those things where they did it, and then it's also like now it's like time to move on.
Yeah, like back to normal, back to business.
Right. But then,
That's the worst part of that
well, then the worst part was
for
when
the people, who
right. But
survive.
then the worst part of it for some fans where it got very uncomfortable is when they started using Eddie's name for storylines, and then like when Ray won the Rumble, and then like, he looks at him, he's like, "Thank you, Eddie," and Randy's like, "Why are you
Yeah,
looking up?" He goes, Eddie's
yeah.
not up there; he's
He's
down
not down
there
there.
in
Yeah, it's like,
hell. And it's just like
bro.
it was like one of those moments when you don't realize as a kid, but you realize it now. It's like he was only 3 months in the ground at that fucking point. Like, can you
And
guys
remember, like Randy did not want to say it.
Oh yeah, he came out and said that was something he never wanted to say,
That's,
but
that's not him as the person
right,
who he is. Like that's not him. He would have never said something like that in real life. He's a sweetheart,
right.
clown, but a sweetheart.
And they did very weird things where it was like when Randy and Undertaker were feuding, they had Undertaker on the back of the lowrider, and Randy driving it backwards and going into the stage just to kill the Undertaker.
Yeah, it's just
Like awkward symbolism
it's
stuff that was used in Eddie's vein.
it's exploitation.
Right.
I mean, should we be surprised that they did that?
I
They were never
mean,
scared to do that kind of crap. I mean, now obviously not, but back then, Vince was never scared to take things to that level.
we mentioned this is 20 years since he passed. They're
Yes,
still exploiting him.
he still exactly. They still do the whole lowrider, the sun gimmick, and
Like what is it? They use his voice for the LWO intro.
yeah. I thought you couldn't just have Ray do it or shit. It would have been
Mm,
cool if Zelina did it.
mm.
Have a girl do it.
But I will say, for one, Eddie Guerrero's, for I want to try to phrase this in the best way because I heard this recently and I want to hear your thoughts on this as we close out. But his wrestling death is the one where, like, after all these years, he's still the most popular, or he's even more popular than he was alive.
I agree. I was just thinking that, like, how to this day you still see wrestlers paying tribute to him with the shake, right?
His name gets. I know, like Eddie Kicks, he gets the same name, but Eddie's name's constantly chanted every show,
Right.
regardless of who does his stuff.
Exactly. It's just you still see people wearing the shirts. It's just it was a loss that the business did not need at all. His family didn't need at all, and you know, there's so many things that you, like you said, like you just can't help but wonder, like how would this have turned out if he was still around,
No.
and not just like in the wrestling business, even like when you hear things about his personal, like his family, like his widow and the kids and all this bickering that they're having. Like had he still been here, none of that would have been happening.
No.
His family would have been solid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just such a the everything that came out of this death is just like crap. Like it just changed the entire timeline of the whole world, almost the whole wrestling world. You know?
Well, it definitely changed in WWE. In the WWE landscape, is also too. It's very sad to say this, but then they implemented a drug policy to check to make sure these fucking guys are fucking a-okay.
I mean, it was long overdue
Yeah,
because
but
you
you had to
had
wait till somebody on your roster died to say,
guys,
okay,
right?
let's check you guys.
I mean, there were so many of them using. Like it wasn't just one or two. Like not all of them, but just a good chunk of them had to rely on these pills or drugs or alcohol just so they could be able to go to sleep and wake up the next day and do it all over again. It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, I would hear stories back then and I'd be like, who? Who did what? Get out of here. He doesn't use. But yeah, it was just like, and these are people you still see around today sometimes. And that's still things that I still remember. Like, I heard about him. I heard about his habits back then, and it's crazy. It's just the way things have changed. Like, you don't see it happen anymore, thank God. You don't.
No.
Unless it's somebody that has fallen off, and they just don't have. Even then, you don't even. I can't remember the last time a wrestler died because of a drug use, like in the recent last 5 years or so.
Right.
We know a lot of them that are fucked up,
Right.
like Perry Saturn and Just Incredible. They're in. That's and that's to see that too with Perry Saturn, right?
They're still alive, so.
But yeah, exactly. They're still alive. They're struggling big time with their lives, but
Right.
it's Jake the Snake, you know.
But
But
unfortunately, it's one of those. I mean, I think he was like 43 at the time. He was definitely in his 40s.
yeah, he was born like 67.
Yeah, so
So
it depends on who you believe, but apparently he was definitely going to be winding down soon. And it's also one of those things for me. It's like it would have been awesome for this new generation to have him as a trainer.
he was 38.
He was 38 at the time. Okay,
Yeah,
I remember. I remember it being young, but it was also
yeah,
like if you have if the PC was around when he was alive, he could be a
yeah,
trainer. He'd be a
yeah.
voice to like teach his younger guys how to work.
Absolutely. He could have been a producer backstage as well, and maybe he still do something on screen, not in the ring, but still could have been work. He could have been Dominic's manager.
Maybe. Or
Yeah,
like he teaches him a lot of his stuff too, because Dominic was trained by a lot of guys. Where I mean, who else better to train him than Daddy Number Two?
right.
Because
Yeah,
I mean, afterwards we saw a lot of things change. Where like Rey Mysterio got the mega push of a lifetime.
yes, he did.
We saw Chavo. I mean, still was around, but not really used to the length of like how Eddie was. They WWE hired his wife,
Yeah,
gave her
Vicky.
a 10-year deal, and she made a lot of it where she became the most hated heel on the roster.
I always have feelings about that. Not so good feelings about that. Like your
Oh,
husband dies, and now you're here living your best life
well,
on
I
TV.
at least appreciate that WWE was there for her.
I mean, listen,
It,
they
it,
could have been there. Yeah, of course, but it's like I don't know. I felt like was
it
she
wasn't. It was.
exploited
It's not the Martha
or
situation
was
where
she exploiting
oh.
off her late husband's name?
Mm. Well,
I
to me,
never.
it never felt like that. But I'll say at least it's not like
Yeah.
the Martha situation where like Eddie didn't. I don't know. I wouldn't say like he died on their watch, but it's
Mm,
not like WWE caused his death.
no,
Where
that
Owen
that
died
hurt the rate. Right. Yeah.
doing a
That.
stupid trick for a pay per view, and he
Right.
tragically loses his life, and then
Yeah.
the wife just distanced herself from wrestling altogether until
Oh yeah.
recently.
Of course. Yeah.
But for them, they gave Eddie like they still were giving. I think they were still paying his salary to her, which was the nice
Hmm.
thing to do, like right
No,
off
it's
the
the right
contract.
thing. Yeah, it's the right thing to do. Right.
Right.
But I just never. I don't know. I just never enjoyed Vicky on screen. I
I
just
think
never did. So I don't know. I always felt a certain kind of way about.
I mean for me too. It was really awkward to see like her all of a sudden be
Mhm.
like a little Edge. Like
Yeah,
that
I was
never
like,
felt right to me at all. But I understand like it was like storyline stuff, and she's not really like that. But it was definitely
yeah, it just, I don't know, it just felt very exploitative to me. Like both WWE and her exploiting off Eddie's name.
right.
That's
And
just
then
me. Like,
yeah, I
like
mean
we
like if
we we see a certain widow doing that now, right? Outside of wrestling, obviously, but in politics, and it's just like,
right,
what are you doing? Like,
yeah,
I don't know. You know my history as well in that situation. I would never do anything like that.
yeah. And then it's
Ever,
like
ever, ever.
as far as like Eddie's family, like his daughter Shaw
Yeah.
tried wrestling a couple times, and now she's not really in wrestling. But I think
Hmm.
like that's her decision. But now she's like I think like a dancer somewhere, which is her decision. Like again, her decision.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think it's one of those things where we laugh about, it, but it's also like Dominic's kind of the one carrying the Eddie Guerrero legacy, where he's continuing in it.
Right. Both family legacies in his
It's
own
kind of like he has both
unique
legacies on his
way.
back.
Yeah, he merged them, you know.
Right.
And he's doing a fantastic job, in my opinion. I think he would be the one that is positively uh honoring him, even if he's being a little snotty brat heel on TV.
Right.
But he does it in a way that just honors Eddie and honors his father in a very unorthodox way. And you know, he's doing a beautiful job. He's doing better than I would think his own family was doing.
Right.
His own blood.
Yeah. But I mean, we definitely talked a lot about Eddie, and it's rightly deserved. So
Absolutely.
uh, I think I told you before we're gonna do trivia, but I don't think it's necessary because we pretty much did a lot. We did a lot talking about him, and
Yeah. We're gonna rehash things if we do.
pretty much. But just like any final words you want to say on the career of Eddie.
uh the career that could have been, I mean, even if he was planning on winding down, I think he still, had his personal life been straight and narrow, he could have had so many more years, and everything he achieved, and especially, as a Latina watching a Latino on TV, even when he would do the weird, odd, little stereotypical things, it was just so awesome to see him on TV representing the culture. And he was fantastic. Never he never let anybody down in terms of the work he did in the ring. Everything he did was just awesome to watch. And it's just, yeah, man, his passing left a huge gaping hole in the business.
Right.
Yeah. Be nobody like him ever. Ever. No matter what. There will never be another Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Full agreement. I mean, for all the matches that we could have seen, it's. I mean, I could do that on 2K any day. Do Eddie Guerrero
Right.
versus a Shawn Michaels, Eddie Guerrero against AJ Styles,
Oh,
and anybody. But
yeah, absolutely.
truly one of a kind. Nobody could be like him, and it's definitely one of those eye-opening moments where like always take care of yourself and just it's not worth going the extra mile
No,
or it's not going past your limits to
no.
please everybody else. Always satisfy yourself.
And don't be scared to admit when you need help.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know?
And on that depressing note, please everybody who is watching right now, please comment, like, and subscribe to the New York Wrestle Media. If you want to follow us on Instagram, we're at NYWM underscore headlock history headlocks. So I apologize, everybody. Just that we knew this was going to go very sad at the end. But all right, if you want to plug
Like
your
always.
socials, if you could,
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Ariana dot grande. Next time I'll write it down so you guys can see it.
yeah,
And
we'll definitely have a header on the bottom for everybody to see.
yeah, I'm rusty here. It's been a few months. Give me a couple of weeks to get back on track here.
Yeah, definitely next episode is going to be more cheerful. We'll talk off air what we're going to do next, but
Yeah.
just for with the timing of all this, we definitely wanted to do this episode now before it goes. We didn't want to hold this back anymore. So
No. Yeah, and then, like when you mentioned it, I was like, wow, because like I told you, it turns out that that's the anniversary of my father's passing as well. Now,
Mm.
So now it's like I can't forget now. Like sometimes when a wrestler dies and it's been so many years, you kind of forget when it happened exactly because so much has gone by.
Right.
But now it's like I can't forget now that Eddie Guerrero's anniversary. I can't forget it now.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. So this is me speaking, Mike. All right, over here. Thank you for tuning in, watching. Please make sure you do everything that we've been saying. Like, comment, share any Guerrero moments. Share your favorite matches in the comments.
Yes.
Recommendations always welcome.
Absolutely.
And final thing to say is before we close out, just class is dismissed.
Ring the bell. Grab the books, run.
Yeah, we should get a bell.
Sit, turn type, sit. Good boy. Ruff.